This episode of the Nerf Herder Council is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download.
I'm Kevin Thompson. I'm Chubre from Return of the Jedi. You're listening to the Nerf Herder Council.
Warning: the following podcast contains irreverent humor, exceptionally nerdy opinions, potential cursing, and plenty of love for the prequels. If any of the preceding offends you, please turn off this podcast immediately, and may the Force be with you.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
You can't use that word! Only we can use that word!
We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your fight.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate, featuring your hosts, JT. This episode of the podcast is turning into a goddamn episode of Nova. AJ.
Yeah, Rebels is a lot like our show, where we think we have a good idea and then it just fails in execution.
Steve.
Show me on the doll where the last Jedi touched you.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we give our thoughts on the new Vanity Fair expose on the Rise of Skywalker.
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. With me are AJ and Steve. As usual, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And don't forget, you can get your official Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. You look like you're about to say something, but then you didn't.
Well, I didn't know it was my turn yet. Usually you have like a 2-minute spiel before we get into anything, so...
Well, I'm supposed to, but I always forget it. But I remembered it this time.
Well, every time you go on about the Audible thing, then I want to like actually ask about if anyone's listening to an audiobook right now.
No, because they're listening to the show right now, stupid. It was too easy. It was just too easy. Come on, you walked into that one.
All right, fine.
Can't deny that.
I get you with the fat jokes, so...
Exactly.
I'm due for some.
I keep going through my audiobooks too quickly.
Well, I was going to ask you, because we were talking about Master and Apprentice.
You listen to them on X3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
These books take like 11 minutes. I don't understand what the hell's going on. They all sound like they're read by chipmunks.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
No, I still have gotten almost nowhere through Master and Apprentice, unfortunately.
What's the problem there? Because I'm having a similar uphill battle there.
You know what it is?
Because it's not a very good Metallica album, that's why.
Nice. We're on a roll. I think I'm just realizing that all these ancillary stories that are told in the novels and stuff, I just don't really care enough about. I'm sure they're really good and they're getting very good reviews and whatnot, and a few of them that I've gotten through I've really enjoyed, but I'm finding myself like, okay, what do I need this for?
Yeah,
I think I get enough Star Wars in the movies and the cartoons.
I was kind of surprised by it too, because I'm having a hard time getting through it, and I thought I was excited for it because it's a Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan story. Like, we don't get that anymore.
Yeah,
we don't get anything from the prequels except for the occasional Marvel comic, and still, I'm going through it and it's interesting. It's fun to have these characters back in some way, but yeah, I don't really care.
It just seems like all the exposition. It's like that's when I start getting into. They're talking about Qui-Gon's belief in the Force, and it goes off on this big tangent about that, and I'm just going, okay. And like I say, it's awesome for most people. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm like, okay, It's, you know what I mean? Like we've said how many times on the show, like how much do we really need? And apparently I'm one of the people that doesn't need that much exposition. Whatever I see on the screen is good enough for me. I accept it. They got the Force. Some people have, you know, a higher ability to use the Force than others. Now show me lightsabers. I don't need like, you know, 50-page backstory on it. So, but again, that's just me. I'm not saying it's bad in any way. I'm just realizing that, I mean, the last several books that have come out, I've tried and I've been interested in them. Master and Apprentice, the Thrawn, the second Thrawn book. I had a hard time getting through the end of the first Thrawn book. And it's like, it's just not grabbing me.
I thought we both said the first Thrawn book was pretty good.
It's good, but the ending, you know what it is? I think I get all confused when they talk about the locations and everything. It's like, I can't, there's so much detail.
I need a whiteboard.
Yeah, I can't picture everything.
Like, wait a minute, where are they now?
Yeah, it's hard to follow in a way. So I don't know, maybe that's it. I don't know. But I mean, you know, to each their own. Like I say, I'm definitely in the minority, and I'm not giving a review saying that they're bad in any way. It just isn't my thing, I think.
Well, I bring it up because we're getting into the what do they always call this? The road to, or the rise of, or something like that.
The rise of Skywalker.
Right?
Yeah.
what was it called? Like it's called the road to or something, right? Or journey to.
Journey to, or the roadmap or something.
Yeah.
stupid.
So like looking at the book releases coming up, there's going to be like 17 different books out between now and the end of the year, all with the journey to the rise of Skywalker on it. So
yeah, for me, it's just overkill. You know, I just don't feel like I need that. And again, just me personally, but you know, it's cool that it's out there though. As I've said before, even if it's not for me, and even if it's something that I don't like, I'm glad that there's all that content out there, because it just it opens up the door for more potential stories that I might be interested in. So, you know, it's cool. It provides opportunities, which I think is good.
yeah, it's it is good if you like it, but man, like they tell all this stuff, and I'm always like in there, like if I were to actually come to this show with actual book reviews, they would be less than 5 minutes a piece, because all it would be is anything that might maybe tie into the movie, and that's it. Like, I don't care about, you know, like the last one, Queen's Shadow, was all about her handmaidens. I'm like, first of all, I'm obviously not the target audience. I'm sorry, just not. And it's okay, because there's different stories for different audiences, and that's fine. But like, does anyone really need that story? Apparently, it's pretty well reviewed. People liked getting background on those characters. So I'm like, why? They're all deliberately anonymous, clone-like people of Amidala.
Yeah.
Like, do we need that? The only reason it ties into anything newsworthy is because one of them was in the Thrawn book, in the second Thrawn book. She was the one who ended up dead that Padme was investigating in the flashback scenes. And she died on Batuu, which is Galaxy's Edge. So it's like you got to connect all those dots.
I got that far into that book.
Right, like all those dots have to be connected before you find anything to latch onto. You're like, oh, that does matter.
I guess that's important.
So when you go to Galaxy's Edge this weekend when it opens, if you see a random female dead body there, you're like, I know the book that's from.
By the way, speaking of Galaxy's Edge, I had something really funny happen to me a couple hours ago. I actually got a text from a friend of mine, and it was a link to the Galaxy's Edge page on Disney's website, and it said, "Holy crap, dude, have you seen this? We have to go to Disneyland." And I was like, "You're not serious, are you? Like you're joking, right?" They're like, "No, man. This thing looks awesome." I'm going,
welcome to 2015, buddy.
yeah. I was like, what the heck?
Our show has not taken off. Our own friends don't even know we have it.
Look, if this friend of mine doesn't know that Galaxy's Edge exists, you damn sure know that they don't know that I have a podcast.
Right?
I mean, that's pretty much a lock. So, all right. Well, why don't we get into tonight's topic? We wanted to touch on the Vanity Fair article that came out about 2 weeks ago, a week ago or something.
You landed that segue like Anakin landed the cruiser that Palpatine was abducted on.
I don't care. It just, we go, you know.
We are still flying half a show.
Look, we only have like 15 listeners, so I don't think it really matters.
I was getting there with the Galaxy's Edge tie-in. It's a summertime thing. What's going on this summer in Star Wars? No, we'll just cut right to it. Vanity Fair. All right, let's go. Vanity Fair.
Don't forget about listeners 23.
Yeah, right. I forget. Yeah, we got 23 listeners. What is that a segue? Oh, it's summer. What's happening in summer? Speaking of summer, people reading magazines. Like, what? That's not a segue. It's like, you know what, dude? I had Taco Bell for lunch, and oh man, it kind of ran through me. And speaking of bathrooms, what do people read in bathrooms? Magazines. And speaking of magazines, here's the Vanity Fair article. Look, I've had some damn good segues. I don't have to have all of them good. What was it?
Well, now
Bad Santa. Well, they can't all be winners now, can they?
Well, now you're never going to know. He might have had an A quality segue that could have drawn us
right
24 or 25 listeners.
I just blew it.
Trying to class up the joint.
I know. Well, I'm in the room, so you know that's going to be next to impossible.
This is why we can't have nice things.
So speaking of nice things, Vanity Fair is a nice magazine, and they did a great spread on the Rise of Skywalker. So that article did come out. Like I said, it's about a week ago or so. Was it?
May 22nd.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, actually,
I say
a week
that
ago,
like
exactly.
I know what I'm talking about, not that it's on my computer screen right now.
Perfect. So we wanted to talk about that a little bit. I was kind of surprised by some of the stuff that they put in it.
I was surprised that it's out already.
This seems like kind of like the same timeline as the one for The Last Jedi, though, wasn't it? It was like early summer, late spring, I thought.
Is it usually like a 6-month lead in?
I thought it was.
I really think these guys are just trying to beat each other to the punches. Yeah, Entertainment Weekly wanted theirs and Vanity Fair wants theirs, so it's just who gets it first. It's like Black Friday shopping.
Yeah,
you know how like Black Friday sales are going on in August at this point because everybody wants to keep trying to one up
right.
the other stores. So the next Vanity Fair article is going to be stuff like 7 movies from now. It's like, oh look, we got your exclusive first look.
A month before the Rise of Skywalker comes out, we're going to have the Vanity Fair, the huge it's 12-page reveal of the movie that comes out in 2022.
Right. It's just pictures of sand.
Nice.
Yeah. But here you go.
So I will start by saying I was a little surprised that they just outed the Knights of Ren the way they did, which I mean, you saw them in the teaser trailer a little bit. We assumed it was them that was getting rock bottom by Kylo. It had been rumored that they would be in the movie, but for them to just come right out and go, bah, here's the Knights of Ren. That seems like something they would want to at least try to keep wraps on.
Oh, by the way, this already came out in actual press, so I don't think anything we're talking about here is a spoiler, right?
No.
Okay, good. Yeah, if it comes out through official channels, I don't consider it a spoiler.
No, I don't either.
If it's like a rumor from Star Wars Leaks subreddit, okay.
That'll be our next episode. Ruin everything for AJ.
Well, that's the way you like to do it. You're like, oh, I know something, but I can't tell you. But I'm going to hint around it so much.
Well, if you would read the internet where everything's true, then...
Well, clearly there's a tie-in to Solo in this then. Didn't you catch that in your picture?
Yeah, I wondered about that. The weapon, the one.
Yeah,
knight.
People lose their mind over these details.
I don't know how people see these things. It's like I look at it a lot because I love Star Wars, but the crap that some of these people find, I'm going, man, oh man, like what? How are you seeing this stuff? Well, good for you. Yeah, I don't. Maybe I just don't have that attention to detail.
I'll post a link to this in the show notes so people know what we're talking about with these photos and whatnot. But yeah, basically one of the Knights of Ren is holding what looks like to be the exact same like long-staffed axe that was in the background of a shot with Dryden Voss in Solo. So people are, oh my god, that's so crazy! They got the same axe. Like, well, they've got the same props department. That's why.
They ran out of money on the Rise of Skywalker and started grabbing old crap from other movies.
They made a bunch of crap, and it appeared once in a background shot. Like, you got to get your use out of it somewhere.
It's like the IG-88 heads in the cantina,
right? And there was stuff in Solo that was rejected designs for Last Jedi. So
there's just people back like behind the scenes that are like, just put in. None of these idiots are going to notice,
or they do it on purpose just to get everybody all riled up.
Yeah, right.
This means nothing but watch. You're going to freak out. The article comes out and they just can't wait to see if there's like an explosion in the fandom. Like, oh my god, look what I found.
Well, now they get to go back and retcon and be like, oh, yeah, see, the history of that axe is really fascinating. It's coming out in a book.
I was going to say, speaking of books, that'll be the next one. The Ren axe. Like, oh, my God.
The art of the Rise of Skywalker trailer. They don't even do the full movie. They just release it in segments.
Right. All right, so what was the name of the new planet? I know it began with a P. It was like...
Oh, man, I got to skim through here and find out.
Yeah.
You put me on the spot.
Yeah, way to go. You have it up on your computer, Steve. Look at that.
I just gave you the name of it.
I did see
PFFFFFFT.
Somehow I don't think so. But I know that there were people complaining that it wasn't Tatooine.
Poth, Tatooine, Patu. I'm just going to start rattling off names here.
Man, you guys came real prepared.
Okay, I'm not going to find it on my phone here, man. You've got an entire laptop in front of you. What are you doing here?
Scrolling and not seeing anything that begins with the word.
It's a planet that begins with the word P. We know that, and it was filmed in Jordan.
Wadi Rum.
That's actually the name of the real location on Earth, actually.
Yeah, no, I know. Wadi Rum, Jordan.
Okay, no, I thought you were saying that as though that was the Star Wars location.
No.
It might as well be. I mean, no one's ever heard of it anyway.
Man, this is like, I don't like the mobile version. I'm trying to look through this thing, and the mobile version, I do not like it at all.
It's a very lengthy article. When you're stuck on a phone, that takes a long time to get through.
Wow, look at that.
But no, I am kind of surprised that they went to yet
who the
another
hell cares
desert.
what the name of
It's
it is?
in the very first picture at the top of the article. It's the first thing. Jesus.
I was reading the text, not the captions.
Pasana. It's right there.
So they went to
In
Pasadena.
the very
Who gives
first
a crap?
sentence.
I'm not reading the stupid fine print under the
see,
picture.
this is why I lead this show.
Yeah, that's why we have 23
read it.
listeners. Good job, Chief.
Well,
You notice the two of us are trying to read
you
through
would
work.
forget to even post the show if I wasn't doing it with the way
You
you,
wouldn't have
read.
anybody editing if it wasn't for me. Go
You'd
screw.
forget to do that too. Pasana.
Yeah,
There
the
we
two
go.
of us are reading through the text itself, and he goes right for the pictures. Who's
Because
the
I
dummy?
read all
Yeah,
of
course.
it.
Okay, so what's the second line then without picking your phone up off the floor?
I don't need to know because I already got
'cause you
I already
don't
got the
know.
information I
Shut
needed
up.
with
Shut
the
up.
first sentence of the thing.
Trying to act like you know what the article says. He's going for the phone. Fourth wall.
Anyway, we've got.
I did read the whole thing. I just
Anyway,
Yeah, so
see, this is
Pasana.
why we need to go to a video format. Then we'll have evidence of this kind of crap going on.
look. It was in the damn caption for the very first photo that pops up.
Nobody reads captions under the photos.
That's crap.
This isn't grade school. We don't do that anymore.
That's bull crap.
So we've got a third desert planet in Star Wars, unless this is
Yes.
just another location. Oh, this would be the fourth now. Jeddah. I forgot about Jeddah.
Yeah. I was still hoping it was Jeddah, but you know.
I mean,
Okay, so anyways, they're in Pasadena. What the hell does this have to do? I forgot what the hell we were even talking about at this point.
Pasana. Yeah, so there's the other desert planet. So we've now learned the location where all that stuff happens.
We have sand and more sand and other sand planets. Great.
See, it's cool because like when they do these things, like they give a bunch of information and none of it really tells you a damn thing about the plot, you know? Like they have, you know, they revealed who Richard Grant's character was, Allegiant General Pryde.
I'm good with
So,
that.
you know, that sounds very, you know, important. General Pryde, and it with a Y, of course.
You know how I get on with the First Order officers, too. So my favorite one from Last Jedi is, I forget the guy's name, but he's the, what are we waiting for? Fire on the base! Like,
5 bloody minutes ago.
yeah, right? Like, take no Admiral. That's what I call him.
I'm trying to remember his name. What was that? Oh, well.
I've got the book. I should look into the Art of the Last Jedi, whatever. But whatever.
Yeah. No, but yeah, so I was kind of hoping I was kind of hoping it was Jeddah, but apparently not. And we still don't know what the heck happens there. So, you know, it's still interesting to me that they're still doing the, hey, we're going back to new planets thing. It just, you know, like we talked about before, at this point, can you really do that, or is it even necessary?
Yeah.
I mean, why couldn't it be Tatooine or Jeddah or something?
If they wanted to drum up hype for it, using a callback would be a great way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that because they've said there's going to be a ton of fan service in this, that there's probably more than enough callbacks. So I just, and I think Tatooine might have been overkill. That's why I was hoping for Jeddah, because at least Jeddah is like supposedly the Jedi homeworld. So that would have been pretty sweet if you're gonna, do the whole new Jedi Order thing, or
Yeah, I think between the prequels and original trilogy, we had enough of Tatooine itself.
Yeah, that was a little. There was a little bit of Tatooine in there.
Was it 4 of the 6 movies or 5 of the 6?
God, now you're getting into like the trivia of it. It was 5 of
did
the
it
first
appear
6.
in Revenge? Oh, so it did appear in Revenge of the Sith
At the very end when he hands off baby
yes.
Luke. See, I do remember that. I had that as a Star Wars trivia question, and I got it right. Yeah, so it was 5 of the first 6.
Yeah, there's enough Tatooine. We're good with that.
Yeah. So you like the General Pryde guy, you said?
Mm-hmm.
What if it's just him and like Hux yelling at each other like comedically the whole time? Like, I want to hunt down the resistance. So do I.
Yeah.
Go forward. That's what I was thinking as well. It's like, oh my God, there's 2 of them. Yeah, now there are 2 of them.
I want 20 Star Destroyers. I want 25.
The Laurel and Hardy of Imperials. Oh my God. So, all right. So yeah, everyone was all wondering what he was going to be. So that's, it's like they revealed his character and Kerri Russell's character. And she's like,
it's Rey's mother.
Wow.
I'm just being the internet right now.
She's a masked.
I'm stupid.
They called her a masked scoundrel. Zorri Bliss.
That's the Rocketeer. Stop it.
Oh God! They introduced a new female character. It must be
it's
Rey's
not.
mother. It must be Rey's mom. I'm the internet. I'm dumb.
No, it's the 3rd member of Daft Punk. That's who that is. And then we have she's seen in the Thieves' Quarter of the snow-dusted world Kijimi. So we have yet another new world. See, I love everything I read, but I mean, because it's cool to get more details. But again, it kind of worried me a little bit because it's like new place. Okay, well, what are we doing about the story that's already been established?
I get that. There's a lot of new for something that's supposed to be the end of a saga.
Yeah,
Introducing new things seems odd when you just have to end them essentially, unless they're just building us up for the next trilogy to be like, oh yeah, I remember that planet. You guys went there in episode 9.
Yeah.
Just so you have like a sense of, yay, I know what you guys are doing with the new trilogy kind of thing. Otherwise it makes no damn sense to introduce new anything at this point.
And there's usually only about 3 major locations for each movie. So if they've already named 2 that are new, how much time are we going to be spending on familiar locations?
Well, I wonder if they only revealed the new ones, which would mean that, that hunk of the Death Star we saw, maybe it is on Endor, like we were saying.
It's not on Endor. Told you that.
All right. So you say, I think you're wrong. You're going to hear about it in the theater if it turns out to be damn Endor. I'm going to throw something at you.
Yeah, but I got 6 months of trolling you first.
Totally worth it. So what else do we got in here? Because that's just a lot of.
Well, there's the classic Millennium Falcon cockpit shot.
Yes, got to have that.
The thing that I thought was interesting is they have this weird mix of behind the scenes photos and clearly very finished photos. Like they got that shot of Rey and Kylo fighting on what looks to be pure speculation here. It could be the hull of a ship or maybe a giant space station that used to resemble a moon.
Yeah. Nice.
But they've already got their finished like lightsaber blades and it's got snow effects and everything. So that's clearly a finished production shot. Like they made that one done for the magazine.
I always wonder if they're bringing stuff up in here, kind of a little bit off topic, but like stuff that like they shouldn't be saying or they're phrasing it wrong. One of them says like a call to action in a chase scene. It's like, oh, were we supposed to know it's a chase scene? But anyways, sorry. I'm scrolling through here to find the picture you're talking about. So
I don't know. They love to dangle things like every behind the scenes video, which that'll probably be coming in July, I believe, right? That's probably the Comic-Con thing is either another trailer or behind the scenes.
Yeah.
There's always stuff in the background that's just out of frame or just a little blurry, and it's put there on purpose.
Yeah.
Like that stuff doesn't sneak in by accident. It's not a Starbucks cup on Game of Thrones.
Or a water bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of snuck in there in the background, I think obviously the photo that got the most attention was the lightsaber battle photo with Kylo Ren and Rey, because people have said that that's either on that section of the Death Star because it's like a water type of like a storm type of a situation, or other people have speculated they think it's the top of the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, that could be too.
Yeah, I mean, either way, that's pretty sweet, and that was a really cool picture.
The first thing I thought of actually was going back, 20th anniversary of episode 1. I want to say it was either Vanity Fair or was Entertainment Weekly had this big double page thing that had a desert planet with Darth Maul on one side with his lightsaber lit up and Qui-Gon on the other side looking like they were attacking each other. Never happened in the movie. It was totally just made
publicity photo
for publicity.
That's a good point.
So I'm just like, dude, how many of these things are we looking at are just purely a publicity thing at this point? Yeah.
Well, and like we've said with the trailers, I mean,
yeah. There's something in every Star Wars trailer since, episode 7 that has been in the trailer and not been in the movie. So
it's just weird because half the photos are all finished like that one you just described, JT. And then half of them, like we see the quote chase scene like you were describing, where you see the actual truck that's rolling along in the desert that's got the top half done up like whatever ship it's supposed to be. Like, so I'm not really sure how much we can take these photos at face value or not.
Yeah, that Kylo Ren one was really interesting when people because I just looked at it like, okay, they're fighting on something, okay, cool. But if you put 2 and 2 together, I think I kind of tend to side with the opinion that it's a part of the Death Star a little more than I would side that it's on top of the Falcon, only because where we see that chunk of the Death Star in the water
purely on the trailer.
And it also seems kind of like it would make sense, like maybe she's trying to get in there and then Kylo Ren's like, no, I'm getting in there. They're fighting for something in that piece of the Death Star or something, or she got something and he wants it, or vice, you know what I mean? Mm. That could be the Emperor specific part. Like, I don't know. That kind of seems to make a little more sense. Unless they, just happen to land the Falcon there and then he jumps up like, here's my lightsaber, let's fight. Like, and maybe that's, so who knows, but
Vader was a retro gamer and Kylo's going in there to get his Game Boy or his PS Vita.
Yeah, right. So you also mentioned the obligatory Millennium Falcon cockpit shot. So
on the one where Billy D. Williams is clearly farting in the driver's seat of the Falcon.
He looks like he's like mid fart. He really does. The first time I looked at it, I'm like, no, dude, he's totally wrecking that chair, man.
That's mid shart. That's a look of worry on his face, dude.
That's why he wore the yellow cape.
He was trying to let out. He was trying to let out a church house creeper. It got a little juicy.
Church house creeper. Man, we can't get anything on this show without us on at least something.
Yeah, the
terrible timing for that statement, but yeah. Oh man,
this is supposed to be that like familiar shot that everyone loves to see, but they've done this for every movie, and it just gets sadder every time.
Yeah, I mean,
like first you're like, oh, it's Han and Chewie, that's awesome. And then you're like, well, it's Chewie, but there's no Han, but there's Luke,
which didn't really matter.
And now it's Lando and a handicap placard hanging from the
yeah. He's got his sticker
and this stupid little Dio. I'm sorry, that droid does nothing for me whatsoever.
I'm interested to. They've pulled off all the droids really well so far, so I'm interested to see what his role is going to be and how.
Oh, he's got a wheel.
Right, oh, hey, look what I did there. Yeah, but I mean, I'm interested to see what I mean, he's bumming around with BB-8, so that should be kind of interesting because who doesn't love BB-8?
And speaking of droids, segue. The other photo that everybody's up in arms about, the Luke and R2 standing in the fire photo.
Yes.
So lots of speculation on that one.
I tend.
Who would get into a text war over something like that.
I tend to side with everybody that it's like a staged shot because, I, again, not paying attention, just, ooh, Star Wars picture. I looked at it and I didn't notice that I was like, oh, it's a flashback until AJ immediately said, look at the hair and the beard. I was like, oops.
That's the big mystery, right? This doesn't fit anywhere in the timeline that we know of.
Yeah, I've seen so many people say that it's just like a staged picture to, showcase the character, and I'm like, okay, but they didn't really do that with any of the other ones per se. I mean, they had the seated picture of Hux and Pryde and stuff, and I guess they kind of had one of Zorri Bliss, but
well, I mean, Force ghosts.
Did I get that right, Zorri?
Force ghosts appear wherever people see them, so maybe Rey is seeing Luke somehow in front of her on a planet that's lit to high hell at this point, and maybe we're just not getting the blue hue or something because it's a promo shot. Who knows?
Yeah, like not finished with the Force Ghost effect.
Yeah, so not exactly a flashback, but just her seeing him or having a dream about him being somewhere or something.
I actually saw an odd number of people, like oddly high, I should say, that were surprised that, oh, Luke's in the movie. I'm like, well, of course he's in the movie. Like, you don't have Princess Leia, or Carrie Fisher's not alive. I mean, you're going to have those reused shots of her. You don't have Han Solo because he's already dead. So what? Luke's just going to go away and like he's not part of the story anymore? Like that's strange that people didn't expect that. I mean, I thought it was. I mean, he said that he was signed on to do it. So
yeah, maybe a lot of people early on.
Maybe a lot of people missed that news. Who knows?
Yeah. Not that I'm going to put myself at the top of the ladder here, but a lot of people show their casualness sometimes when they put these things on social media.
Yeah.
See, like, I can't comment because Lord knows I do.
It's like I'm not the smartest guy in the world when it comes to all the Star Wars stuff. I'm a fan, but I'm like not in depth. It's not even the way you guys are, which much less some other people. But like the non-common sense that goes into it to go, Luke, of course he's in it somehow. Like,
right?
God, even if it's 2 seconds, episode 7, he's in the movie. Of course he's in it somehow. He doesn't have to be alive. He doesn't. Of course he's going to be in the damn thing, though. Like, why are people surprised about it?
Yeah.
So this is an audio podcast. So let's break down.
Surprised if Jar Jar was in the damn thing. Like, that's surprise. Luke, no, expected.
Exactly.
So can we break down his photo a little bit for the benefit of people who aren't going to bother to look at these things on their own?
Droid, fire, Luke, robe, gray hair.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Great. Good. I'm so glad I try to bring these points to the show.
All right. So now we'll go into detail on it.
So, like you said, hair.
R2 silver and blue.
Yes, he is. And Luke is wearing a cloak. And he has hair and a beard. You've already confirmed that. So we already know that we're dealing with not Return of the Jedi.
Remember, I don't like all the details in the books. So me getting detailed on a picture that comes out of a magazine, I'm not the best source for that.
No, so it's Luke and R2.
Go up to his elbow. They're clearly 3.5 feet off the ground.
So anyway,
so it's Luke and R2 standing amidst something burning. And like you said, you immediately went, well, we saw that. That was part of the thing for, Last Jedi.
R2
and
lit a fart.
Yeah, his jets from the oil.
But yeah, like the only thing we know that Luke was around burning with R2 was the Jedi Academy. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's the scene that we see in Force Awakens.
I mean, that's the inference by the photo. That's what I'm thinking. But again, if it's, the episode 8 looking Luke, then it just looks like it's subversive to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the flashbacks in Last Jedi, Luke had, first of all, he only had the mustache and the goatee, not the full beard, right?
Right.
And he had shorter hair, not the long hair like you see in present time Last Jedi, right? So he's got his like present time Last Jedi look, but he's got R2 with him, and R2 doesn't show up until the Falcon arrives with Rey. So what the hell's burning?
Are we trying to insinuate that Luke has some type of problem now and he just got old and turned into a pyro? he just sets fire to things just to get
I think
by.
he's insinuating time travel.
Something. And JT, you're like,
swear-
oh, well, maybe it's the burning tree. No, because R2 had already taken off in the Falcon with Rey by the time, Luke and actually Yoda set fire to the Force tree.
Yeah.
So the only thing we know of that R2 was around for that was burning was the Jedi Academy. And we know what Luke looked like, thanks to The Last Jedi, during that time period. And it's not this.
I swear, if it's time travel, man, they had better not do that.
Space whales.
I'm serious, man. If they go the whole,
Hey, maybe they whirled between worlds it because they realized that the flashback in Force Awakens doesn't line up with the depiction in Last Jedi. So now they're going to say, oh, well, he later on jumped back to that point in time.
What? Screw it. Bring on the time travel. For all the people that crapped on us for the past week for saying is episode 9 going to be the next Avengers Endgame, give us time travel.
There you go.
yeah, it'll justify us.
You can all eat our asses.
Nice.
We told you in May.
I was surprised people got agitated at that. It was just
It's because it's the internet.
we were positing. It's no big deal.
See, internet.
Yeah,
people
I just
have to get their friggin' panties in a bunch over the internet because that's what you do.
I just think it's a staged photo. I mean,
I don't know. It leads to all sorts of questions.
well, like I say, they staged the Hux and Pryde photo. They staged the Zorri Bliss or whatever.
I don't think the Hux photo's staged. I think that's just how those guys are going to pop in every scene that they're in the movie.
Just staring at the camera.
There's just
right?
a door's going to open and the two of them are just going to be sitting there blindly staring at you as the door opens. Everybody's going to be like, Jesus Christ, why do you keep doing that?
That is creepy, man. What the heck? Yeah.
Because we need order.
There it is.
I think Hux is just striking a pose with the guy because he's one dude who can finally be a friend to Hux. I mean, Hux is not likable, so he finally finds one dude as big a prick as he is. He's like, I'm sticking with you, buddy. Me and you.
Or they just for absolutely no reason introduce Hux's father.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, what are we doing here?
Hux is just like,
that was already
wow,
in the book.
There's somebody that doesn't, or that people like less than me. I'm going to hang out with this guy so I look better by association.
It's going to shock you, but the backstory of Hux and his father are told in books.
Well, that would explain why I don't know it.
Yeah.
Is there an order to the books?
Well, it starts in Aftermath. So our buddy Chuck
That would explain why I don't know it.
continues in Phasma.
See, that's the thing. Like when they show, excuse me, when they show these new characters, damn allergies. When they show these new characters, I just wonder if it's going to be like how they played up Phasma, like, oh, look at this cool new character, and they have a minute of screen time.
It usually is. That's the one thing we're everyone's losing their minds over the stuff in this article, and like you said, it's not spoiler time yet, so you know that this is all the stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's
like that Zorri Bliss character is probably about like Zam Wessel was in episode 2.
I was that is the exact character I was thinking of when I first saw it, and not because of the Z, but I was thinking, man, that's like kind of a Zam Wessel-ish description,
and that would make sense to the opposite of my point of not trying to introduce new things at the end of a saga. You know, if you are going to introduce new things, no better way to wrap them up than to have them have 60 seconds of screen time and get off,
right?
Well, we had the obligatory shot, also a staple now.
They're just making all these new characters just to sell Black Series anyways.
Right.
And then they kill them off 2 minutes into the movie.
they got their merchandising out of it.
One thing you can always count on with an Annie Leibovitz photo spread is you're going to get the gratuity shot of nameless aliens.
Yep. We got that for sure.
Aliens you don't recognize, species you've never seen.
Yep.
And so what?
They're called that.
Like,
Did you?
Wow, it's Star Wars and there's aliens. Who knew?
Did you? I see. This is a reference only Browns fans will get. But did you see the name of those aliens?
Mm-mm.
In like the robes, the nice looking robes. They're the Aki, and I so wanted to put the new Browns linebacker they drafted this year. I wanted to put his head on one of them so he could be Sione Aki. Because
Wow, dude.
For anybody who doesn't know, we drafted a guy named Sione Taki, and as soon as I saw Aki, I'm just picturing his head on one of them. Like, look, it's Sione Aki. Like, it totally. Anyway, it's me being a total idiot, but
so being total idiots and talking.
I can't read books, but I can come up with that kind of crap.
Right. Talk about aliens and being total idiots and stuff like that. Do you think we finally get the fan service of Constable Zuvio in episode 9?
How great would that be?
Yes, he needs to be in there somewhere.
You're going to have so many pissed off people that never picked up that Black Series.
They're going to reissue it as an episode 9 preview figure.
They're just going to repackage all the ones that they didn't sell.
San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Damn it! There's 97 of those on the shelf at Toys R Us, and I passed on them.
If I was J.J. Abrams, I would have specifically dressed somebody up in a Constable Zuvio getup for the day that Annie Leibovitz was coming around, just to make her shoot a picture of him and put him in the article so that everyone loses their minds. So they're like, he did it again! He showed us Zuvio and didn't put him in the movie again. What the F, JJ? Like, that would be so great.
Zuvio's going to be the Where's Waldo of the Star Wars universe. He's just constantly going to be in photo shoots, but never be in any of the movies.
The special edition of The Force Awakens is going to come out. His arm's going to be behind that big, like, elephant rhino thing drinking the water. Just going to troll everybody with it. So, well, that's all I have. Do you got anything more for us?
I think that's most from the photos. Can we get into some of the words now? Are we allowed? Are we allowed to read the words, or do we just look at the pretty pictures?
There's not really much in the words. It's like more like a history of Star Wars.
Well, the one thing I was just really interested in the closing paragraph, actually, because it is kind of the thesis, is how
we could go off the closing paragraph. Yes,
is how the the saga in general.
Words.
They're talking about how this wraps up the entire saga, right? And how it's changed over the years, because 40 years of popular culture and society in general is like a big turning point. I don't know. Do you guys like that? That they're trying to pivot this Star Wars is more mature now. It's more with the times, because it's not just good and bad. There's shades of gray.
Yeah.
And it's the shackles of the middle generation trying to set up the future while not being beholden to the sins of their fathers. And I don't know. I don't like to think about Star Wars that hard. How about you guys?
No. I mean, we have a show talking about Star Wars as in-depth as we can, but yeah, I kind of like looking at it that way. To me, it's just, it's entertainment.
I don't want to put that much thought into walking into a movie theater ever.
Yeah. Well, and personally, I don't like to think that the director of Star Wars is doing that either. It's like, just make a kick-ass Star Wars movie. Like, people don't go to these types of movies to, think metaphorically and,
we're not looking for the we're not looking for the underlying tones here. We just want to watch a stupid movie about aliens and lightsabers.
Do the good guys win? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what most people go for. I mean, I've fought people online, go figure, about that fact. Like, why are you looking for that stuff? It's just a space opera fantasy series about, the Force and the Jedi and the Sith and
if you really
lightsabers and spaceships. Like, no, man, I'm like, okay.
You really want to watch movies about real things? Just watch the news every damn day.
Or watch a movie about real things.
Watch a documentary or the news. Leave Star Wars alone.
Yeah, I don't understand people that go to these movies to look for this ungodly deep meaning. It's like, just can't you just have fun with it? I mean, if you want to look for the deep meaning, that's fine. But I just hate to think, like I say, if J.J. Abrams is out there somewhere trying to, make Star Wars into Hamlet or something.
See, that's like eye of the beholder kind of crap right there. If you see an underlining tone and you want to make believe that that's what it was, more power to you if that's really what it is. But honestly, it's a stupid, like you said, it's a space opera. You're flying stupid ships around space and shooting lasers at each other. Like, are you really supposed to have a deep-seated meaning to anything that's coming on that screen?
And that's why I actually really enjoy this. I know I started this off by going, isn't 6 months too early? But really, now we've at least got something where we're looking at these pictures going, oh, what's that about? Like, where are they fighting at? What planet is that? You got all these questions, and all we get to do is have fun just playing around with it in our imaginations for a while until we get our next little bit, like in the behind the scenes trailer or whatever, comes out this summer. It still serves its point for us, right? Like we still get to play around with it as much as we want to without the internet spoiling it for us.
Yeah. And after the next trailer and all that, then we can do our stupid fan theories episode about episode 9.
Yeah, those are good. I'm just glad that it seems like people didn't tear apart the.
Can't wait till
pictures.
3 months before the movie comes out, and AJ and I get to scroll through Reddit and find all some comedy gold for our show again.
Those are my favorite episodes to do.
There's our interview right there. I got to reach out to whoever came up with the Rey is from an egg theory, and we'll get that person on.
Oh gosh.
2 movies later, what do you think about that Rey is an egg person?
Wouldn't it be great to track people down that had like the worst theories possible?
Oh yeah.
Like, can you
Just
explain
show up
yourself?
At their front door like Jay and Silent Bob with the giant stack of paper.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad that it doesn't seem like a lot of people have really trashed anything they saw in the article, because this movie is pretty much, I think the fandom is really on edge, because of, all the Solo and Last Jedi stuff. I think people, instead of, like we went into like Rogue One and, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi just going, holy crap, it's new Star Wars. Everyone was all excited to see it. Now everyone's kind of,
You're right.
Yeah,
They're
waiting with bated breath. Like they're quite nervous to see what the hell's going to happen.
There's nervousness and actually a scary amount of positivity, but that's another topic for another show because of the Game of Thrones ending and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
people are very happy right now that J.J. Abrams is part of it, which are, after Game of Thrones, those are the same people that were like, I can't believe J.J. Abrams is getting another crack at this. And then season 8 of Game of Thrones sucks, and all of a sudden everybody's happy that J.J. Abrams is here. Figure that one out.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we close up shop on that one? Thanks again, everybody, for listening to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. Again, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial. You can find us at Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Castbox, Spotify, Google Podcasts, most Android podcast apps that you might want to use. All of our episodes are available on YouTube if you want to go there. You can find us at our website, which is nerfherdercouncil.com. We are on Facebook. You can hit us up there. If you'd like to email the show, it's nerfherdercouncil@gmail.com, or you can interact with us directly on Twitter at NHC Podcast. And once again, don't forget, you can get official Nerf Herder Council swag, which you can customize any way you want at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. So once again, I am your host, JT, at Dog Pound Jedi. He's AJ.
At Drake Adams 579.
He's Steve.
At JSteve1005.
And we will catch you next time.
This bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my Nerf herder.
You my Nerf herder.